Investor Channel. As always, this is your host here, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys live from Miami. Just got finished with a great event, and today, as you guys can already see in the title, I got a very, very special guest for you guys. Highly successful, highly decorated, Mr. Michael Roberts. He's done so much real estate, media mogul. I will let him do the rest, all over the place. I'm just happy to have him. But as always, I don't have a lot of time. I definitely know you guys don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it. Mr. Roberts, nice to have you. Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you.
And as you can see, this is an Investors Channel. What advice would you give, these junior entrepreneurs and real estate, whatever they want to do? Because I know you've done so much, and so much you can give on being successful.
Well, let me just say that I started off in real estate, small properties, moved to commercial. Actually ended up owning TV stations, hotels, shopping centers. I built a wireless phone company. I've taken 3 companies public. So if you look at the broad diversity of my businesses, and there are many more on top of that, plus I've probably employed over the years close to a little over 11,000 people. That's one of the greatest things that I think any entrepreneur or capitalist can achieve and realize that you're actually helping mold the lives and set examples for people. So that's kind of your underlying thought. What I always tell people, if you're going to go into business, you have to look at certain components of who you are. In other words, the first thing you have to do is eliminate the fear of failure. If we break that down into 2 words, first word is fear. Fear is just a mental construct. It's not of nature. It's not grass growing. It's not the wind blowing. And when you were born perfect. You had no fear. You develop that, so it's really a state of mind. How many times have you heard people say, "Oh, I had that idea 3 years ago, 3 months ago," and others have taken that same idea and they've made millions of dollars with it? Well, if you can eliminate the fear of failure, it moves you past the hesitation to take action and puts you in a position to potentially be successful. Second word was failure in that. Every day when you wake up, you're given a certain amount of seconds per day, 86,400 seconds to be exact. That's 24 hours. It's an existential concept, but every moment that you exist, the moment you even think, it's already gone. So now you have to live every moment to its fullest extent. In other words, you either use them or you lose them. And part of the success in any great business person is to realize that there's no such thing as failure in the first place. Now, there may be times when your business or your relationship, maybe your marriage, where the outcome isn't as you would have liked, but did you learn anything from it? Did you have a takeaway that will help you in the next phase of your life? So if that's the case, then there's never failure. There's only a learning experience, and that's how you have to accept your life and who you are. I often ask people, do you think outside the box? Most people say yes. My response to that is, I really need to spank you, because when you really think about it, if you're saying that you're living outside the box, doesn't that presume that you are in a box? So now you've just created your own limitations psychologically. It's a metaphor. And I try to get people to think, if you're going to be a real entrepreneur and a capitalist in a capitalist nation, which is where we are, then we have to realize it's just the horizon. And you want to be diversified. You want to look at all types of opportunities and certainly learn how to say yes to most opportunities as they present themselves. Now, you may have to take a little time to develop them. I had many businesses, over 100. As I said, I've taken about 3 public. I've owned about 15 TV stations, 12 or 13 hotels. I have shopping centers. I was on the International Board of Directors of the International Council of Shopping Centers, the first African American who ever served on that. That's the owners of all shopping centers in the world.
Wow. All
the tenants of shopping centers in the world. And there you learn. So you have to be engaged in what you do. Now, I'm a lawyer by training. That was my background. And right out of school, I moved just 2 blocks from the projects where I lived for 10 years. And I was elected as the youngest member of the St. Louis City Council. That was something that we jumped into, and I was able to achieve and hold on to and be a part of for 2 terms, 8 years. Now that is a very interesting side of being in business, and that is understanding the political ramifications of business and life, because this country runs on politics. and the laws. And I mean, there's nothing that happens that the law doesn't touch. You can't be born without a birth certificate.
That is true.
I mean, and you can't die without one also. So, I mean, the reality is you have to have this appreciation for the environment, the legal environment that you're in. So whether you're starting off buying, that first home, maybe it was taken from back taxes. You go to the city, you look at their rows and see what's available. Look at them, determine if it's something you want to buy, and if you do, then be prepared to put some sweat equity in it, renovate it possibly, and make it work for yourself.
Now, Mr. Robert, one of the things you just said so much there, from having a fear of failure to, like I always tell people, you don't take L's in life, I just take lessons. If I lose or if I mess up on something, I take a lesson from it. If you learn from it, you said, and I always see that with successful people, they take failure as a different way. Now, speaking on failure, so those landmines that a junior entrepreneur that's coming in or an investor or anybody that's trying to be successful, like what probably you would say was like your number one mistake or something that you wish you could just like, I wouldn't do that. This is something you probably would see.
Let me just say this. I don't know if mistakes are the right word because in business, there's too many elements that can change your original game plan. The economy can shift. The market can shift as it relates to the subject of your business. So just because your outcome isn't as you would like doesn't necessarily mean you made a mistake. It just means that there were superseding, intervening actions that were outside of your control that probably made the change. And when that change occurred, then you had to respond. Maybe you respond with bankruptcy. Too often, people are afraid of that term. Bankruptcy was formed to help poor people get a fresh start.
Wow.
But who uses it?
You're welcome.
Absolutely. I mean, General Motors, American Airlines, the list is long.
So now you see more wealthy people use bankruptcy than the poor.
Because they understand the value of it. We have put ourselves in a position where somebody uses that term, it's a stigma, when we should be applauding them for having the presence of mind to use those kind of resources. When you have a downturn in the economy, I mean, you need to have certain protections and just entities that may be coming after you like banks and others. So it is a tool, and there are many tools that you use when you are in a position or you need to reposition yourself, reorganize, and make your business direction and career something that taking it in the direction to save it overall.
Wow, that is great. One of the things you just said, how you use bankruptcy as a tool. It's not a bad thing or it's not a stigma. And how you said when you slip or you have a setback, you just reposition yourself versus just calling it quits.
That's right. It's a reorganization concept.
That is great. Ms. Roberts, I want to thank you
Sure.
for so much in that short time. He's given so much. I hope you guys got something out of it too, because I know definitely I did. And it was a pleasure meeting you today and getting to know you.
Let
and
me
things
just
like
conclude
that.
with something about me.
Okay.
I'm the author of a book, Action Has No Season, Strategies and Secrets to Gaining Wealth and Authority. A lot of books are written by people who got rich because you bought their books. They Can Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Not bad books, don't get me wrong. The difference is I became wealthy first, then I wrote the book. So the substance of my text is based on real life and real world experiences. So I hope that your viewers will consider the book. It was written for that emerging mind who wants to be in business with the entrepreneurs. Action Has No Season is the name of the book.
Action Has No Season. The link would definitely be here in the description box. I just got the book today myself. Got it signed by him, and it was a true pleasure. And I look forward to building our relationship and things of that nature. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on and giving us that much knowledge. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Mr. Roberts, you got anything you want to lead out with?
No, I want to say that in my book I coined the term the actionaire. And the actionaire is one who takes their ideas, their dreams, their passion, and their vision, and they pursue them with courage, confidence, and bravado. The actionaire is a no-box thinker. In other words, when I mentioned earlier about thinking outside the box, and I said a lot of people think outside the box, and the position is actually that assumes you're in a box. Well, the actionaire is a no-box thinker. The actionaire has eliminated the fear of failure. You take action. Every day when you wake up, people, we have dreams. We have several dreams, but the first thing you have to do with a dream is wake up. And then you have to sit up, and then you have to stand up. And then you have to be prepared to pursue your dream. And a lot of times, family members or friends are going to tell you, oh, well, you shouldn't go into business, just get a job. You know what happened to Tyrone and some more other family members when they tried to get a job. Well, I'm going to have a business. Well, like I said, first thing you do with the dream is you wake up. You sit up, you stand up, and then sometimes you have to tell people just to shut up and get out.
Tell them to shut up and get out of your way. That's very true.
And then you go after your pursuit. That's really what I want people to do. We have not just one, we usually have many dreams. And let's keep one thing in mind. We have to realize that change is going to occur. And either you control it or it controls you.
One of the things that I saw that I thought was so amazing that you said when I heard you speak was the difference between power and authority. Could you tell the viewers the difference between that?
Yeah, it's really easy to set an example for that for you. For example, let's use the word power for a moment. The most powerful person on the face of the earth is the President of the United States, arguably. And I drew the analogy of how when George Bush and Condoleezza Rice, the Secretary of State at the time, flew to India and Pakistan and spoke to the heads of both of those governments and said to them they need to sort of calm the rhetoric between their real estate holdings, their lies. Well, this is my property a mile over here, this is my inch over there. And in an effort to avoid potential regional war between the two. Well, actually, the heads of both of those countries said, this is our country. We'll do what we will do. And they basically thumbed their nose at the most, quote, powerful person on the face of the earth. Well, at the same time, in both of those countries, you saw the Microsofts and the Dells and a variety of internet companies beginning to build plants and facilities in those countries. And if you look at what happened at that point, if Michael Dell had gone to those two heads of nations and said, if you do anything to affect the flow of my products and my production as a result of regional war, I will pull my plants out of your country and affect the growth of your middle class.
Wow.
Now, Bush had power. Michael Dell, the capitalist, the businessman, had authority. So the question is, which would you rather have? You see, that's part of the message that I like to bring to people. Because capitalism and understanding the importance of growing wealth is a sustainable issue, especially for us as African Americans, to learn that rich people sort of scream, but wealthy people whisper, as I say over and over. That concept of being rich kind of brings along the bling bling mentality, if you will, and it usually doesn't sustain very long. It tends to burn out. But wealthy people and wealth creation is something that is intentionally developed for sustainability into families and our close associates in your business. And it's normally sustainable. And that's what we have to have, more mindset of sustainability with wealth. When that occurs, you'll see a major change in our communities, in the mindset of our people, because it's terrible that every black child that's born today is already starting at 0. And every white child today is already at 40 to 80% just because they're white.
Wow.
They have the advantage with the banks. They have the advantage with getting jobs or building businesses. And that's because of the level of respect that they find within their subculture group. If you look at how frequently the dollar turns over in the Jewish community, it turns over somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 times, 15 times before it leaves that community. If you look at the Asian Americans, it'll turn over roughly 8 to 9 times before it leaves. And if you look at most subculture groups in America, the dollar tends to take place within their subculture group and stays there 6, 7 times. You know how long it takes a dollar to leave the black community?
Probably didn't even turn over one time.
Somewhere between 8 and 9 hours.
8 and 9. Wow.
We'll take our checks, we'll go to a check cashing center, which will take a piece. They'll pay their bills at the check cashing center. That'll take care of. They'll take a piece, and once they've just about completed that, then they go to the Nike store and buy their kid a $150 pair of Nike tennis shoes.
Wow.
We have to get the mindset changed, and when you have wealth within our community, and they understand the value of sustainability, then we also understand the value of turning the dollar over as frequently and as possible within our community. That is critical, and a lesson that needs to be learned and expressed within our community.
Wow. Well, Mr. Roberts, that was a lot you just gave. I want to say thank you for being here on the channel and featuring us. And I look forward to reading your book and finishing it. And don't forget, check out his book. And you can follow him just all over the place. So, as always, guys, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, comment, and share button. Until the next video, you guys already know what to do. Peace. Be safe. No matter.